Hey guys, I'm Becca, I'm 24 and I am a former student athlete. So looking back at my high school and my college career being an athlete, everything just kept on bringing me back to faith. My lack of faith during that time and how I implemented the faith that I did have during that time. So I got to college and it was a very rocky start for me playing soccer. I was going in with a torn ACL that I had torn the summer leading up into my freshman year. And then I started off the season and everything just kind of was hard for me. I had a coach that didn't like me for whatever reason. No matter how hard I worked, no matter how good I played or how many goals I scored or how much I lifted, it seemed like nothing was ever good enough, and that she was just never going to like me. And with that, I went into every practice and every game with this defeated, depleted mindset. And that really showed, the level of faith that I had during that time, because I wasn't trusting God with any of the hard areas of my life. I think that comes from being kind of a control freak. I like to have my hands on everything, and especially, sports, like that wasn't an area that I needed God in. It kind of seemed like it was like, oh no, I got this. This is, under my control. And, in high school it seemed like in high school everything was just, it worked out. I never even thought about not getting playing time. I never really had that many injuries, and then, fast forward me a year and a half later, I'm in college, I had this torn ACL, I'm not playing, my coach hates me, and I don't really like my team. And so I think the stretching of myself during that time of being an athlete was really where I got a revelation of who God was. And that's really where my faith took a turn. I don't think I was ever forced to have faith before I got to that point. What's supposed to be your most exciting time starting off your, college career, and it's supposed to look so promising, was actually one of the darkest times for me, because nothing was going my way. I didn't know the major I wanted to be in, and the one thing that made me so happy was actually the thing that was making me the most miserable, and that was playing soccer and going to soccer practice. You don't really realize how little of faith you have until you're forced to have it, if that makes sense. Looking back at that time, I had such a fragile faith, and it was more kind of like a leaf in the wind kind of faith, and not this solid rock foundation faith that God is, and knowing that He's sovereign, and knowing that He has His hand on every single thing involving you. And I don't think I realized. I always knew who God was, and I knew that He was all powerful, but I really didn't. I don't think I believed it. It wasn't a reality to me. His word and His promises weren't saturated into my soul, because if they were, I wouldn't have lived from a self-pity, victimized mental state, in soccer. I would have approached everything differently, and I would have reacted to things differently, and I would have trusted God more, knowing that He was going to come through. I wish I could just shake myself and tell her that God is for you, and all these things coming against you are actually a blessing and benefiting you, and you should be thanking your enemies, and you should be thanking your opposers, and whatever that might be for you, whether it's a coach that doesn't like you, or a teammate you're fighting with, or an injury you didn't plan for. Those are all opportunities to trust God and to let Him come through for you and bring you out on the other side way better than you had planned. And for me, it wasn't soccer. It wasn't playing soccer somewhere else. I did quit soccer after my sophomore year, and I was planning on going to play somewhere else, but God completely redirected my steps and set me on a different path that I had never planned for or even thought of, which just, I'm gonna get emotional, is just the goodness of God, because, you know, he saw that path wasn't best fit for me. And that's not to say that, you know, you're not going to go on to play sports professionally or be successful in your sport, but I really wanted to boast in my hardships to you guys, because I don't think I realized until much later on, after I had stopped playing sports, that, you know, where there isn't uncertainty in your life, it doesn't leave much room for faith to come in. So if everything is going smoothly, I can pretty much guarantee that you're not going to need God that much, or you're not going to think that you need God that much. And that's really the kind of mindset that I had prior to playing sports in college. Was I got it all under control. You know, God's kind of like a shelf God to me, where I get them off the shelf and I put them back when I need them. So I just hope that you're encouraged of, during the hard times that you come across playing, you know, whatever sport you're playing, that that's a chance for God to reveal himself in a fresh new way to you. That it's a chance to be obedient to God, and it's a chance to prepare you for the valleys that, you know, life's going to bring, whether it's later down the road in your athletic career or somewhere not even in the same boat of sports, but just in life. If you get anything out of this, I just hope that I'm encouraging you to have a little bit more faith and a little bit less self-reliance, because God loves to show out in the times where we feel most helpless. P.S. Coach Rich, I miss you, and I'm so thankful for your leadership during my time at Corpus Christi, and just the impacts you had not only on me as a person, but my faith journey. So, thank you.